Let's talk Tanya for the 22nd of Sivan. With yesterday's Tanya, we concluded the basic ideas of God's unity, including the two levels of unity, Yichudei Ilah, Yichudei Hata, the higher and lower levels or perspectives of God's unity. With all the information that we have amassed over the last few chapters, we can now make sense of a puzzling verse in Malachi. The verse says, Ani Hashem lo shanisi, which means that God says, I, God, I've never changed. The obvious question is, what does that mean that God never changed? God created the worlds. God used to be alone. Now he has company. God takes care of the worlds. He runs the worlds. He's aware of the worlds. How does that not constitute a change in God? But based on everything we've learned up until this point, so we can make sense out of most of it, before the worlds were created, there was nothing but God. Now the worlds were created, also there's nothing but God. So essentially, really nothing has changed. But you might ask, how about God's awareness, His providence, His knowledge of everything that's going on? Before the world was created, He wasn't aware of anything outside of Himself. And now apparently there are all these creations and God is aware of all of them. And with the Alter Rebbe, to answer that, he turns to what the Rambam says. The Rambam actually addresses this question. And the Rambam says, and this is a topic which we've discussed previously, it comes up several times in Tanya, which is that number one, we have to understand that God's knowledge and His intellect is very different than human knowledge and human intellect, in that by us, there is me and there is my knowledge and my intellect. They're not one and the same. I existed before I picked up the information that I know. And as more time passes, I pick up more and more information, so it's not essentially me. Whereas by God, everything is what we call Achdus Peshuta, complete unity. God is one with everything. And also, everything that God knows, He knows from self-knowledge, which makes sense based on everything that we've spoken about up until this point. If everything is merely just a projection from God and is God's creative energy, then God is not aware of something which is outside of Himself. It's all self-knowledge. If it's all self-knowledge, all there is God and His knowledge, which also is part of Him, and everything He's aware of is all self-knowledge. So the verse, Ani Hashem lo shanisi, the statement, which God says, I've never changed, is 100% accurate. In tomorrow's Tanya, we're going to use this information, and the Alter Rebbe is going to give an opinion regarding a theological debate which was raging in his times. What is the nature of that debate? What does the Alter Rebbe have to add to that discussion? We'll find that out in tomorrow's Tanya.